ask a question. Are there any gamblers in here? Anyone want to wager that I can guess how many gamblers there are in here? Give you 3-2 odds? 3-1 odds? No one? No one? Yeah. When we are making assessments, we're taking risks. So if we believe there is a God that has certain risks, if we believe there's not a God that has certain risks, and we're in fact gambling. So Blaise Pascal came up with this Pascal's wager. And you might recognize Pascal if you've been in the sciences, because he was a scientist as well. But he's also a theologian and a philosopher. And he came up with this wager. He said, if you wager that there is a God and you win, well, you've won infinitely amount, right? You've infinitely won. There's no really price limit. This guy right here, this sideways 8, is infinity. That's the symbol for infinity. You might see it on the infinity cars, actually. I think it's on. But that means that there's more, that it never stops, right? Just try to get the concept. There's no end. There's no biggest number in infinity. It just keeps on going. And that's what we do. If we wager that there is a God and we are in His graces when we enter into eternity and we are in a loving relationship with Him throughout all eternity, we win forever and ever and ever and ever, and then about forever's after that, right? It just keeps on going. If we lose, there is a cost. Let's say $500. You can put whatever number you want here, but there is a cost. How many of y'all cheated on your taxes? Just because you were afraid you would get caught, or because it was the right thing to do, right? If you know you're not going to get caught and you know that there is no God, then why not cheat, right? Why not get that extra money? Okay, so there is a cost living by rules where you're not going to steal or take from someone else. If, however, you wager that there is no God and you win, well, you get all those time opportunities to cheat. You get that $500, right? Or whatever, $1 million. It doesn't compare with infinity. But if you lose forever and ever and ever, and you keep losing, and you keep losing, right? There's a huge risk there, a huge risk. Now, I did some research, and there are a lot of people that, y'all are making fun of me, but there are a lot of people who like to wear tin hats out there. And I've actually got some more, I've gotten some more information today, and the aliens are going to be back today. They're going to be back during the services, and I only have one, so I think we have tinfoil over there, so you might want to go run and make yourself a tinfoil hat. But instead of just doing a brain scan today, they're actually going to explode our heads. Okay? So you're going to want this. So who's going to run and get that? No one? If you wager that I'm wrong, what's the cost? What's the cost? Your brains are going to explode, okay? If you wager that I'm right and you're wrong, you just suffer some humiliation, right? Right. Is that a good reason to put the tinfoil hat on? No. And so a lot of people think, a lot of scoffers, when you present them with this argument, that's the same thing they get. Well, just because, I don't believe there's a God. Why, do you see the parallelism, the wager between if there's an alien that's going to explode our heads and wearing this or not, and believing that God is real? You don't see that? So if you wager that there are aliens today, and you put the hat on, and you're right, then you keep your brain. But if you're wrong, then you suffer humiliation of having this. It's like the $500 that you lose. If, however, you don't put the tinfoil hat on, you wager that there is no alien, then if you're right, well, you get the $500. You don't have to wear this and look weird during the services. But if you're wrong, then you lose your brain, right? So if we use that wager analysis, we should all be putting on tinfoil hats so that we protect ourselves, mitigate against that risk. But I'm going to guess that none of us are going to wear the tinfoil hats today. Okay? So Pascal's wager is not a convincing argument. It's not something that you're going to present Pascal's wager to a scoffer and they're going to jump on board and believe that there is a God. But it should cause anyone who's wagering against the possibility of God or who's on the fence, it should cause them to reconsider their position because the cost, if they're wrong, is enormous. So this is, I'm saying you're not going to be able to get someone jumping on the theism boat with this, but should wake up their senses if they've never heard it. So if we're not going to rely on this argument alone, are there proofs that God does exist other than Pascal's wager? So if there is a God, how would we know? How would we know? And the answer is right there. Revelation. He would reveal himself. He would reveal himself. And how would he reveal himself? Well, he's got two main ways that he reveals himself. General revelation and special revelation.